lay down at night, I miss you by my side, telling me about your secrets. I dream and fantasize that I come by your house, telling you.
And welcome to the quarterfinals here at Vienna Spring Break. Stefan Rapazzo, pleasure to have Benji Reese alongside for the journey here all weekend long. Franken taking on Uprising, and they are already off and running. Franken with first possession.
This game's going to be big for those who want to critique our pronunciations.
Oh, is it ever? We just had the read over by Uprising as Franken walk one in for the first. Clean hold. Nice looking score there, but you are right. We did just have the read with Uprising, and there were a couple mouthfuls there, Benji.
Yeah, for English speakers, Polish is not necessarily the easiest language to get your mouth around. There's a lot of well, in Polish it's SZ, so it's like a sh, which only occurs naturally once in English in the word pushchair. It's the only time you see it at all in English.
Bush chair.
Yeah, pushchair, like a pram.
A push chair.
It's the only time you see the SHCH back-to-back in English, and in Polish it's very common. So apologies everyone in advance. We will probably get a lot of these wrong, but we will try our level best. Franken seemed like they didn't really seem to notice any of the noise around them, literally or metaphorically, quickly working it down for a clean hold.
So quarterfinals here, a three-way tie saw Uprising going through, while Fui, semi-finalists last year, get pushed out because of it. And a run through D, foul or call, or is it strip? It looks like he's saying strip, showing the alligator. Here's another look.
By the way, that was a different three-way tie. The Uprising came out in a three-way tie with Outsitters and Terrible Monkeys.
Holy, three-way ties all over the place.
Yeah, they finished top of that to take the second spot in the group.
We're going to see if we can roll that again, because it is contentious. It was very close. Here's another look. Oh,
well, that is close.
I mean, I didn't. It's the angle's a little bit far away, so really difficult to say. They've resolved it on the field.
Yeah, I think they contested it and sent it back, which, when it's that close, I think is a fine result.
Uprising, whoa, hanging on for dear life there, and they get a big gainer. Ratashik leading throw. Mikaliak, and now Bitson. Correcting the placement after the stoppage. Bizon leads, but leads too low, and it goes away. Badura can't get there. For a place in the semis, Franken pick up. Brockmeyer breaks around. Wallaber gets the gainer up to the far sideline and goes back again. Wallaber. Brockmeyer. Wollaber. And Brockmeyer puts it off his face. And now to ground, and Uprising will get a second chance to hold.
I mean, that's a pure spanner, really, because he had it in his hands. The hands just weren't set properly over each other. So that means when he claps down, this doesn't have the solid base, and they kind of slide through, and the disc actually its way out of there.
Uprising on the pickup. Full 360 spin, then the zipper throw, not quite in, but on the doorstep. Kulinski goes back to Bison. Not many immediate options. Finally, one avails, and the shot for goal counts. A dirty hold as they classify, but a goal is a goal is a goal when you really slice them down. 1-1 bench.
Boguszewski's nice and easy to spot, isn't he, with that distinctive hat. A little bit cowboy-esque, that one, actually. He's going to the rodeo after he's done here. I'm sure actually they'll just be hanging around for dinner and good vibes.
Yeah.
And it took them a little bit longer to get into their offensive rhythm than it did for Franken, but those inside throws, which have been valuable for teams all day, but especially when the wind's a little bit higher, so you want to keep the disc flat and maybe have a slight inside-out edge on it. Come up trumps there. We mentioned how some of the teams before the weekend have opted in and said, yes, we'd like the games to count towards the almighty algorithm. These are two of these teams, so this game does have EUCS implications.
As a quarter as well, exciting stuff.
Yep. For Franken, this is their first tournament of the year, so nothing in the results just yet. I'll finish this thought after this point.
Franken, Sheck with the disc. Dumps in. Stretched upfield, Gauga. To Rickner. And the deep shot, too much. Rinker puts a bit too much on it. Wind behind his back helps push it beyond the intended receiver.
It's so easily done when you're going in that direction, because, especially because the wind is quite gusty, it's not solid, so it's a bit more difficult to weigh up. You're in the stadium as well, so when you get a little bit of height often as well, that creates a bit more variability in the level. It's a tricky thing to try and properly get a lid on.
So Uprising, second break chance at the point. A well-developed cut, but a foul's called on it. Upfield, you see Sheck indicating the foul. Their hooves clacked there, Benji. There was a spin-around cut, I'm not sure.
So the key thing is that a foul doesn't have to be intentional.
Yeah, you're right.
In fact, you hope that the majority of the time it's not, because if it is, then something's seriously gone wrong. But yeah, maybe as he's coming one way, the player's going the other, the paths cross and he kind of cuts across the path there, steps on the feet a little bit, they get tangled, and yeah, not intentional, but could well be a foul.
Yeah, I think it could be, and it's accepted there. I just think it's unfortunate because it was a great cut. Fair. He had him turned inside out and then clipped his back heel as he was really getting away from him.
Inside
Inside. Benji, it's not nice to make fun of people's accents.
I'm not making fun of it, I'm enjoying it.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Hit it, bud.
Next throw comes in. Uprising trying to get out of their own end zone. And launches the big shot. A pick is called. Let's see how this pans out anyways. The Franken defender cleans it up. Does Janis Gauga, and that should negate any of the calls.
Yeah, that pick will quickly be retracted. You imagine? He's not necessarily the favourite to come up this because he's in the middle of an Uprising sandwich, but he had a good read on it, and is also aided by the fact that he doesn't actually have to catch it. All he has to do is make sure that his opponents don't. Yeah, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, his job made to be easier in that situation. Rinker. Wind up? No. Sends it upfield though and gets good meters. Now the big one. And bookends, as they call him. Gauguin gets the block at one end and the goal at the other, and Franken add to their tally 2-1. All holds.
Yeah, Franken showing why they topped what was a good pool. You know, they beat Big Easy, Platshirsch, and Triglav. Let me find the scorelines for you. 15-6 over Triglav, 15-9 over the Big Easy, and 15-8 over Platshirsch to take their spot at the top of the pool and face Uprising, who were the second in the other pool that they matched up with. Yeah, those are convincing victories. You're right.
Yeah.
The thing I was going to say is that this is Franken's first tournament of the year, and already they're getting some good results down. Uprising were at the spring invite in Brno last weekend, just a little bit to the east of us, kind of northeastish, if my geography's good, which it isn't. They came third overall. With 4 wins, 2 losses. They lost 15-6 to 3SB on day 1, a 15-6 victory over Atrofavane Ritsa, a Universe point win 14-13 over the Big Easy, went down 11-9 to KFK, and then a 13-12 win over Forward, and so Universe point wins over both Vienna sides, and finished up with a 15-7 win over Terrible Monkeys for a 4-2 record. That I'll come back to that.
All right, this one's hanging, and the contest goes Franken's way on defense there. The bigger body most certainly was Kona, and now Franken got a chance to go the other way, but that one might overhang 2-3 jumps, and in the end it is the more diminutive Polish defender who takes it out of the air.
That problem actually came all the way from the initial turnover, because he caught the disc to make sure that there's no one to make sure that it couldn't be kind of smuggled away from him at a second attempt, but everyone else was watching the disc at halfway, so he's caught it, and he's got no support whatsoever.
Benji telling it like it is.
He needed more support from his teammates there.
Brockmeyer, and then the big shot hanging. Buchner calls the foul after the incompletion, says he felt it on the arm.
It looked like a foul to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, what we think doesn't matter. It's about the players on the field coming to a resolution there.
I'm still happy to look at it again here.
Yeah, no harm in.
Yeah. I mean, that's a foul, and it's accepted. Buchner dumps back and playing a little bit backwards after the big gainer. Brockmeyer goes forward. Buchner and throws it right into the defense there. A lapse of judgment.
Looked like it just got caught in his grip a little bit.
Bison looked like he was walking back to the disc, but he's walking back to the dump space. And big shot right away. Bit of a misread. The intended target started coming back to the disc there, and the disc went above his head. Maybe that was Bison downfield. I see 2 11s out there right now, so.
Might be 41. Filip Kudlitsky.
Okay, Kudlitsky, thank you.
It's a little bit difficult to tell with the
flaming numbers.
Yeah, they're very stylized, I'd say, and more than that as well. I would argue that it's partly a typeface issue as well. There's not enough definition between them. Franken, however, full marks for jerseys.
Yeah, numbers.
Don't care what they look like, but the numbers are so legible.
Yeah, I love that. If you can read the numbers from the camera, then we love your numbers. Leading throw. Gets meters up the line. Continuation to the middle. Schaefer. Big high take for Kona. And intercepted. Bison puts. I thought it was bigger than it was. Mikoyevitz goes to the sideline. Badura. Stall count mounting and then slapped away, thrown behind. If it's a foul, I could maybe understand. I thought it was a strip for a second, and that is not on.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had full control of it to me. In this position, the outcome of a foul and a strip, if it's uncontested, would be the same. But they're going to have the discussion here. Michał Badura was the thrower. This gives me time to finish the point I was making earlier. With that 4-2 record, Uprising currently sit at 15th in the rankings, which is an important place to be in come the end of the season. I'll expand why after the resumption in play.
Badura gets the gainer, moves to the sideline. Inside throw is a dandy, and that one goes into Mikołajewicz. And they're on the board there. Uprising do come out of the stoppage and look tidy.
Yeah, utilising the inside throws well there. And this one just leans out, gets the body weight over that far foot, creates the angle through for the throw through to Bartosz Mikołajewicz for the score. So the reason why 15th is important is that, yes, there's still wild card bids to be allocated to the winners of the summer and elite invites. Let's pretend we don't have to worry about those 6 wild cards. Let's assume those 6 wild cards will go to teams that are in the top 16 for the purposes of this exercise. Still with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. So one of the, obviously we've all talked a lot about how, you know, new system, algorithm, we've got to get the 10 games in, invites, whatever. There's an underrated change in the Open division, and that is the fact that it shrunk. So rather than being 24 teams and then smaller women's and mixed divisions, 16 in each division this year. So it's harder to qualify for EUCF than it has been in a fair old while. So it's harder to earn those top bids, and yes, there's still some top teams that are yet to come into the rankings. So a lot of the top UK teams like Clapham, Chevron haven't necessarily played games yet. Lovely layout bid underneath, but being in the top 16 and earning that bid is huge.
Yeah, harder than it's ever been. It will be more elite than it's ever been because of it. And speaking of elite, the layout bid, and down the other end, Chris Prosser cashes in the goal, and that is a break and the first upwind goal we've seen in this game.
Just trying to find it underneath. Good layout bid. Full hand on that one as well. It would have been a tough catch, but you never want to give him the opportunity. Putting it deep, seeing the lateral separation more than vertical separation there. It's well read, despite the attempt of the defender to get a hand up and swat it away there, Johannes Schurk. And then the continuation to the end zone, a little bit of acrobatic flair on that one from Chris Prosser. And as you mentioned, game's first break. Uprising on top. Uprising, to be fair, they're a consistent European qualifier over the past few seasons, so they're no stranger to EUCF. But it's one thing to qualify when there's 24. It's another thing when it's just 16. And I don't think Franken were ready for that one.
No, but offside called, or is offside called, or was it they did not give the hand up indication?
None of us said we were ready, so they're going to have to do it again. The way the system, the other change to the system as well is that previously bids were allocated based on region, and that region, the bid process, I think, was decided by finishes at the previous year's EUCF. So actually, you didn't need to do anything during the regular season. You just had to, put your good team together, kind of tune yourselves up, get ready for sectionals if you had it, and then regionals, and earn those qualifying and kind of pick up the qualifying bid there. Whereas this year, you have to be good throughout the season to be able to earn the bid, because you're not just earning the bid for a region, as you often see for example, in the USAU, which uses the algorithm to decide where the bids go, but the bids are still decided at regionals. But here in the UCS this year, no, you are earning the bid for yourself. You're not earning it for your region. So it puts the extra impetus on those early season results.
And makes the end result a better product in terms of every team having earned their spot. Theoretically, it makes it a more elite final tournament, even though it loses some regional diversification. So Franken moving it up the field, Hopman, and bouncing off a bunch of hands there, quick move, and Villenborg goes backwards, he gets again. Goes back, Rinke, sorry. Spots the wide open swing and check. And now Hamann. Rinke. Nice around throw there. Non-pivot around backhand, beautiful throw. Rinke again. And ooh, little knock there, knee knock. Those ones are kind of dangerous when you see a jolt to the lower body, but everybody seems to be okay.
Accepted foul.
Bench, you said, let's get to the end of this one. Rinke first. Far sideline, Hamann goes back to middle. Check. Moves it to center. Gauga goes back. Check. End zone offense well and truly activated. Rinke gets past one, but not the second. In for goal to Villenborg. And a nice finish to that possession. They stayed locked in the red zone.
How many bids did you see in that point come up from Uprising players that were so close but didn't get there? And I think that's testament to the accuracy of the passes, because it means if they're ever so slightly offline, they're getting blocked. But even though you're luring defenders in with the bids, they still found a way through. And especially when you're, well, in any position, but in the zone as well, if you go for something and you don't get it, it leaves you out of position. There's a huge hole beyond where you were, and was exploited well there by Frank. And you were going to ask me something.
I was. You mentioned Uprising perennials getting on and in the conversation for regional allocations. They're there. They've been at EUCFs before. Franken, up and coming, won the pool, had the better day today. 2 versus 1, 3-3 in the score. Do you favor one of these two teams? I wonder what Ravi, the human abacus Vasudevan, would have as the algorithmic advantaged team, but who has the advantage in your mind is your question. I see this as a very evenly matched battle.
I think it's a pick'em for me.
A pick'em, a flip a coin, and that's why we're seeing a classic clash here. And if you were to pick 'em bench, are you going to go so far as to pick a winner in this one? I don't ask too often, but this one I see it is such a pick'em.
I genuinely don't know, actually, because I just haven't seen any of these teams at all this tournament. So it's tough to know exactly how they're playing. I think you say, okay, well, Franken were a pool winner, so maybe that gives them an advantage. But Uprising maybe have a more recent track record of success. And you say, actually, well, maybe Franken's pool was a bit easier, so does that actually mean they're in better form? Who knows?
Well, they're playing nonetheless without a call. We don't need it. Bison hangs one up, and the benefit of the wind in the sideline goes in their favor. Hangs up just enough. The defender went up, and it just floated over his fingertips.
Yeah, we've seen floating throws have teams come a little unstuck at times, but it's not a given that a floating throw is a bad thing, because that one is just enough to take it past the defender there, who's the Franken defender. My brain's escaped me, but with the defender out of position, the hang time is fine, because you've got enough time to bring it down before they can actually catch up to it. Just one little point I want to talk about about the wider picture of things. The algorithm has no opinion on this because Franken are not in the do not have any data in the algorithm yet. So who knows? Because then it doesn't update on a game-by-game basis. It's updated at the end of the weekend. Also of note is that there are 6 wildcards in the Open Division, as opposed to 4 in mixed and women's. That's because the 2 finalists at Elite Invite get automatic wildcard bids, and the winners of the summer invites get wildcard bids as well. It's just that there's more summer invites for the Open Division than there are for mixed and women's, because there are more teams entered and are competing.
I see. Thank you, Benji. Clarifications on point once again.
It's also why there were more open divisions across the various spring invites last weekend than there were mixed as well.
Uprising, pick up the disc. Wyszynski goes backward. Wind up throw, hat comes off, but it's overthrown, or was it? He slowed down because the defense had the better line, but when they both missed, there may have been a more direct line, but would have been a very difficult read in any sense.
Yeah, the defenders almost took each other out of it, to be honest. They both converged under it, and actually, was there a little bit of a line behind them? Was it possible to toe that one in the back of the end zone? Maybe, but that's a very tough play.
Rinka. Jab to the middle. Gauga. And this one is certainly floating more than wanted, but Rinka gets the bailout catch. Hamann. Leading throw, Rinka, and that rises, and second effort. Rinka having a moment out there right now, getting things done.
Yeah.
Hamann.
We're quite close to Vienna Airport. Someone might need to call air traffic control. Just tell them Rinka's in the area.
Don't put anything in the air. He's going to bring it down. So they did play with fire a bit too much in terms of that sideline. And as it goes out, Uprising will get another chance, and what they do with the chance to begin with is take a break, take a timeout. They're going to think about things, Benji, and try and cherish this opportunity as much as is possible.
Should we do the same?
Let's do the same. We're going to take a break too. We'll be back after this timeout.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
And back after the timeout. Thanks for being with us. Always, as always, we love your support, love having you. If you are able to, go on and hit that like button, give a share, let somebody know that this game is worth watching. Quarterfinal action, Vienna spring break, and go on over to patreon.com/ULTI.TV. Have a look, have a read, find out what we're all about, and if it's in you, support the cause. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Benji Reese. We're having a wonderful time in Vienna. Felix behind the lens. And a one-break advantage for Uprising. They've just gotten the disc back. Can they drop one downfield into that end zone? Let's see as they kick things off here. Sent deep. They want to do it all in one throw. That is too far. Yes, it is too far indeed. Wind helped push that out the back.
Not the first time we've seen, well, both sides really struggle with weighing it going deep in that direction.
walking it back up to the line. Sheck greets his mark and centers with a little bit of upfield advantage.
I think it's a pole rather than a check. Thank you.
Chuckles for days. Hammond. Sheck. Nice throw under the hand of the mark. Gauga goes back to Sheck, and now Hammond floats it, and off the wrist. The defense was closing and made him swivel his head away from the disc for just a second, and that was just enough to cause the drop.
Yeah, there was a little bit of defensive freelancing there, but everyone kind of converged towards this near side rather than kind of maybe holstering that or seeing an opportunity to hit the player that was poached. Still went to see if he could fit it in there, but the defenders closed too quickly. And at the moment, while Uprising is struggling to weigh up the deep shots in this direction, oh, that's a really good take.
A really good read. They could have had a really good finish by Gauga to ensure that goal doesn't count and this point is not over.
Yeah, they are struggling to finish it off, but it feels like at the moment Uprising are in the ascendancy. It's a real grind for Franken, and remember that this is, you know, a Franken 0 point. So at the moment, they're trying to grind it out. Full credit to them for that. But Uprising, they might be, you know, ruining that they've had so many break opportunities. I mean, yes, they've got a break ready in this game, but they could easily have had 1-2 more.
Benji, did you just refer to poaching as defensive freelancing?
Yes, I said it was freelancing.
I love it.
Because it was a little bit more than poaching, I think.
Defensive subcontracting.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, why weren't you covering the deep hit? Oh, I subcontracted it out to the tall guy instead.
Back to Schenk and Rinke. Hammond, quick delivery, Schenk. Ooh, and the bobble, there it goes again. And slow to pick up, no rush here. They let their...
Send it deep.
I think they may win just with that wind behind them. Yeah, they have gone to it one more time, and they're happy to just keep Franken down in that end and force them to try and chip their way out.
With all due respect to Uprising, this is classic D-line offense, isn't it? It's, you know, you give your playmakers chance to make plays, give them something to chase after, put it up in the air, and you know what, if it doesn't come off, great. We've generated enough turns, and we'll play the field position battle as well.
Rinke, low, and you don't mind it being close to ground, but not that close. A bit of a daisy cutter, taking Benji's terms now.
Well, at the very least, we won't need to mow the lawn after.
Uprising, that one thrown a little bit behind, but hung on to. And hands are waving. Vucin sends it back.
Tried his very best to help us with pronunciation pre-game.
He did.
Any errors are on our part, not his. I do not hesitate to point that out.
Back in the hands of Hammerschmidt. And low throw, Vucin. In for goal, punch spike, and another break. Uprising, rising up here.
It felt like it had been coming, hadn't it? They'd had enough opportunities, and usually, if you keep generating the turns, eventually you back yourself to put one of those in. Yes, it took a lot more tries than they would have liked. Certainly, they'd prefer to improve that conversion rate, but they made it count in the end, and they were consistently making Franken work at the full length of the central zone, the full 70, if they wanted to score, and generally it was being played in their half of the field. Certainly for the latter stages of that point. It was just a question of can they find a way through, and actually the short field turnover worked out well for them there, not just because you're close to the end zone, but because being close to the end zone meant, well, we can't just chuck it deep anymore because there's not really the room. And actually that was just what they needed.
Yeah, they're now Uprising in a very good position where Franken will receive and they'll have a downwind offense, and they can concede. They can watch all these downwinds go in and be satisfied trading. Of course, they don't mind letting their defense do more work and getting more breaks on the board, but yeah, now it's advantage offense, the easier way to score, but they have generated the advantage where they will just stay ahead by trading if it does go by dictation of the wind advantage. Renke, and you see the difference in how easy it was for them to score receiving going downwind versus upwind. Thing is, they're still down 1, and Uprising are going to take that same advantage.
Yeah, the stronger the wind gets, the more that plays into Uprising's favour, really, because they've been able to get those couple of breaks in. It means that for Franken to take the lead, then they have to get that upwind break in. Just playing it short outside the end zone where they needed to. And yeah, as you mentioned, just finding that little seam towards this near side, slicing it through for the score. By the way, we have updates on the women's quarterfinals for you. They are Germany Masters women against Mantis, East Block taking on Terrible Monkeys, Box versus Catch Up, so an all-Austrian matchup. We are going to be streaming 3SB versus Sharks.
Exciting stuff.
I'm here for it.
3SB Sharks. It'd be great to see Sharks back on stream. They had a cracker this morning, taking on Czech stalwarts. But back to this game here. Uprising trying to move their way downfield. Maszewski, and then the upline throw. Kudlinski. Wind up, backhand. Will it stay in? No, not the sideline nor the distance. Out the side and the back.
I think it did come back in a bit before going out,
yeah,
so it's not going to come out immediately where he threw it. Precisely where it then left the playing field again, I'm not sure. But this is high stall. Actually, you know what? Maybe it did cross in the end zone. It's tough to tell with the angle we're at, to be honest. Yeah, you're getting into a high stall. You're on the sideline. Look, we've got to do something. You may as well give it a go deep. We know how hard it is to go upwind. Felix has got distracted by a plane. Is that what, Air Austria, I guess? I don't know what the Austrian national carrier is.
Austrian Airlines. I flew with them.
Austria.
Austria. Franken, can they get up this pitch for the break chance? They couldn't on their offensive hold chance. This one would count for more, in theory. Now they've crossed half. Volbert. And dump back. Corner. Volbert. To corner again. Volbert. In and smacked away. There is going to be a conversation there. Hands up.
Accepted.
Foul accepted.
I mean, we wouldn't know because I actually think it is a strip, but foul and strip have the same hand signal.
Do they?
Yeah, I know. Terrible.
And goal conceded, a upwind break.
Jamming in the jam hole.
5 apiece. We got a game on our hands here. No seeing things through on serve.
Yeah, no do to boot it. We are in one here. This is just jamming it in the jam hole, to be honest. It's not big and it's not clever and it's not pretty. well, actually, it's kind of clever. If the space is there, it doesn't need to be a big space. That's all you need. Our first official good doggo of the day. Woof.
Our first official what of the day?
Oh, good doggo.
Not our first. I mean, same dog on for the second time.
Oh, did we have it earlier? I missed it. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Franken now they're going down. They're going downwind. So if they can catch in the break here, then we are back on serve. And Franken would be more than happy with that, having dug themselves a little bit of a hole. Oof.
Here is the pull.
I can still hear the wind, even though we're wearing the headphones, which I think just demonstrates how ferocious it is out there.
Uprising. Deep in their end zone. A little bit of Poachy D playing against, trying to jam the lanes.
Yeah, they're staying very isolated. And there's the overthrow.
And bobbled, but didn't need to be caught defensively, so Franken will pick up and now have the downwind break chance to go on a run and take a lead. Hammond.
Just trying to work out what the stoppage was. Was it because there was a different disc on the field, I think? Yeah. Turnover's going to stand.
Uprising. Second chance to hold. Looked to the offhand, upfield, went with the around and gave it straight back. Hammond.
Had to do something with it, I guess. Did not see a huge amount in front of him. Oh, that's a really good adjustment there from Hammond as the tent is started going. I thought this was nailed down.
And wind is picking up enough that it is disruptive of all sorts on the sidelines as well. But controlled as Uprising bring it back to the front cone. Hangs and banged away, and foul called as there was a mass of humanity there. All of them find contact with one another.
It's so tricky to work out what happened in that. I'm not saying that the foul call is illegitimate. I'm just saying that it's so tough for us to tell what happened. In the end, I think it's retracted anyway.
Yeah, retracted indeed. Franken to pick up. Leading throw. Volleberg. Oh, and heavy contact there. Krugmeyer indicates the foul immediately.
Yeah, you can see what the idea is here. That defender flashes up and thinks, I can get my body round the side and slap it away. Remember Martina Komentsova doing a similar thing at UCF last year?
Yeah.
Except on that occasion, he just couldn't do it. It's so much harder than you think to be able to, well, I think it's pretty hard anyway, but to be able to twist your body around like that.
And the wind coming up big, and the Franken receiver coming up big. A great reception there on a blade with a whole bunch of wind effect on it. And here is another look. It's Harmon who outweights the pack and collects the elusive goal.
This is more like the Vienna spring break, I remember. Yeah, we didn't have the rain of last year, mercifully, but my lord, do we have the wind.
Do we ever?
We might have to nail you down, Steph, to prevent you blowing away.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the threat of being blown away here, Benji. But the tent, perhaps. It will catch a bit of wind.
I don't think it's a surprise that we're going to probably see a game of runs here, given the conditions. It's going to be tricky for teams to kind of play solidly and consistently, I think, is the key. The consistency will be very hard to come by because of the wind, and it's not just strong, but it's a bit up and down as well, quite blustery. So, yeah, you might find a little bit of form, and then all of a sudden the wind doesn't quite go your way, and you lose it again.
Bison picks up. And jacked straight away. The run under in pursuit and picked away. Kudlinski was the intended target, but a hand on it macks it out the back.
I think what you needed to do was actually slow down a little bit earlier, because you've got a big body there with a long reach, and what you're going to need to do really is, I think, try and box it out earlier so you're making the catch relatively uncontested because you're racing towards it. But I think wary of, I don't want to slow down too much and actually not get there at the end. So it allows the defender just a little bit of a line to undercut him a little bit and get a big paw to slap it away.
Franken from their end. Corner. Goes back. Leading throw to corner, and he looks around, indicating that there's no way he thought that was for him. Pick up. Uprising. Short field. Reception. And the fall away break. Great throw for goal. Back on the board. Uprising take one there, Benji.
That's a lovely throw, isn't it? It's so tricky there because, you know, you're leaning backwards, you're trying to create the angle, and, you know, naturally the whole point is that you're sacrificing your balance to give yourself that angle, but the fall away flick into the end zone, brilliantly executed. Bogashevsky getting his second goal of the game, I think, to bring us still on serve, but tied once more at 6 apiece.
Could we be set for another Galaxy Point game here, Benj?
Another Galaxy Universe double? I mean,
I'll take it.
I wouldn't decline it.
That pole hits the ground just beyond half. Again, substantial wind effect. Rinka. The high grab by Richter. And back to Shek. Gauga. Dumps back. Shek. Leading throw to Willenborg. Low, and Uprising stay down. And I think Gauga agrees in the end.
It's a tough one because it looks like he got his hand underneath it, but it must have been a little skimmer off the turf where it bounces and then it shows you the edge and you think, oh, I've got this, but it's just had a little brush of the grass on its way through.
How could I have got my fingers under it if it was on the ground?
You know what? I hadn't thought of that.
Well,
we've all had those discussions.
yeah, and they bounce. And they go up and down, and that wind drives it past the near sideline into the soccer net. Football, as some might say.
You got into the hockey goal. It's worth something, right?
Hey, you think that's hockey?
No, I think that's field hockey, yeah.
Oh, yeah? That was
None of this
like
ice hockey nonsense.
juniors football or something.
That's hockey.
Rinka. Shek. Back to Rinka. He jacks it, and that's going to be too far. You can tell immediately. Lots of implications here for the tournament, for the season. 6-6. Big game underway.
Yeah, this one's tighter than a miser's wallet. I was going to make a disparaging joke about you, but then I thought that was unfair because you actually always get your rounded. He's a good man now, Steph. He does. He's a man of his word. He does always get his rounded.
Yeah, maybe I should stop. Too liberal sometimes, but I love to be liberal.
You're a man of the people. That's what we love about you.
Franken. Goes back, check, and overshoots. Oh my goodness! Not overshot. What a pickup on the second ever. Gauger, Benji, wow. Did you think he was there?
No. Did anyone think he was there? I'm not even sure he thought he'd come up with it, but look, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, as they say. And yeah, this of course is not for him. Why would it be? But that doesn't mean he should give it up. Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's just brilliant.
Oh,
clearly inbounds.
He bid early. As soon as he realized that his teammate wasn't getting it, he was horizontal.
There's sometimes you just kind of have to hold your hands up and, you know, give a little round of applause and say, you know what? Fair play. I was going to use stronger language than that, but fair play, mate.
Oh God, that was my highlight of the day. I think that was the best play I've seen today.
You know it's good when you kind of you don't actually have proper words for it. You just sort of start making noises and giggling.
Gurgle, gurgle.
Yeah, it gets kind of, it renders you not quite speechless, but
yeah, speech limited.
You speak in tongues, maybe. There's this, a sort of childlike giddiness that comes over.
Wow, Uprising are going to want to score here so that they can give us the gift of Galaxy Point. Bizon and a lot of contact there, foul called immediately.
And immediately accepted. It's zone coming out because they're trying to get the short field turnovers here to take advantage. You want to get it as close to the end zone as possible if you're going into the wind. And because Uprising haven't really had their range on those deep shots.
Mashevsky goes back straight away.
It's tricky to try and... They're leaving a huge zone in between kind of the mid-range of defenders and the deep, and then we're trying to say, we're going to bait one. Can you just drop one in the bucket there? Because it's a tough ask in this wind. And they got exactly what they wanted. Looking for the scuba, but Kudlinski just couldn't quite get his fingers underneath it and scoop it up before it hit the grass.
Yeah, I mean, Kublitsky couldn't quite get the fingers. I still classify it as a throwing error. It was just not perfect, made to be far too difficult to get those fingers too.
And I think it's a really good idea. It's a good option of hitting that space, but you've just got to be so precise with it in this wind. Often they're the trickiest throws to get quite that revolution through. You don't quite have to torque and the snap of the wrist that you might otherwise do. And yeah, on a day with less wind, that almost certainly comes off, but this is not a day with minimal wind.
No, it is not one of those. Corner with the disc, goes around with the backhand. Harmon. Not Harmon, that's Woolaba. Ooh, and the backup plan is there again. Doing the job time and time again. Brockmeyer handles that one. Brockmeyer goes to Kwana, who's asking for a restack. Timeout taken, and they want to take this half. They've got a glorious opportunity to do so.
You can see what Kerner's trying to do there. Just marshal and discipline everyone downfield. No, we're staying in tight. We're giving ourselves those big spaces. I don't want any lagging behind. We're not getting it. Timeout. Let's get something set up because we need to take advantage of this opportunity.
We're going to take advantage of this opportunity to take a break and get ourselves set up. We'll be back to see what happens with Franken on their goal line stare down.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
enjoying the show, show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Nova School Electric, become a member.
Back at it. Goal line stands. Can Franken take the half? They sure hope so. First look for Garnier. He gets it to Brockmeyer. Garnier dancing around. Gives the option. Winds up the hammer. Goes wide and can't handle that one. The time over or the turnout, however you want to phrase it. They talked about it.
Burn and turn.
Burn and turn. That is the one I forgot that I do love. And now they've zipped it the other way, the length of the field. That's gonna have too much. No! I was close to having too much, close to being caught. I think the hand did indeed touch the plastic there.
I think
the feet have been in still.
Oh, maybe just, but he's stretching and he's also thinking about his feet and he can't quite wrap his hand around the outside.
And a bit as well difficult to coax your mind into with the track coming up right at the back.
I totally get the self-preservation instinct there. But, I mean, that's exactly what Uprising should have done. A, because it nearly worked, and B, because you got in a position where Franken were on your end zone line, and now they're on their end zone line. So even if it doesn't come off, you say, you know what? Who cares?
Yeah, easy for me to say now, but I didn't necessarily love Franken getting all the way to that end zone line and calling the timeout. Yes, they were getting a couple of high stall counts there, but they put themselves in a pretty good position to score. The slow down and time yourself is advantageous to the defense.
It's just so difficult to get things going from the standing start and get that kind of rhythm and motion in your offense. And as well, as soon as Franken had the setup, obviously the defense gets to set up around you, so they were able to kind of double cover that first cutter, and there wasn't anything really going on towards the back of the end zone, so there wasn't a huge amount that Franken could really do. But another misjudgment there from Kuklinski.
Yeah, good looking throw and can't be handled. I was going to ask you the question, how many throws till it's jagged deep? They didn't jag it deep, but the one throw was looking to take a big chunk of meters, and I think had that been caught, the next would have gone the rest of the distance.
Yeah, I don't hate the mid-range throw there because you've got it on the target, but in this win, every catch is tricky, and oof.
And now a foul called here.
I don't think I agree with this foul call initially. I think the defender was in that space nice and early.
Yeah, the neutral zone was breached by both. I mean, the throw was just asked for that. You cannot. Oh, yeah. I mean, he went to ground and could not control his body and went into those legs in the neutral zone. So he has retracted it. It is turnover called. He's come off, unfortunately. We hope he's feeling better. And made the right call in the end. Again, one of those things where sure, you're unsure, you hit the ground a little bit dazed. You felt contact, call the foul. Okay, reassess, talk to your opponent. Yeah.
Talk to your teammates and as well, because a good teammate, you know, they shouldn't just say, yeah, no, stick with it. They should tell you when when maybe you're mistaken.
And Bison sends deep. That is a good throw and another drop. The wind not making it easy, but Kudlinski has had a few now in this game that are getting away from him.
It's tricky because you're right to keep throwing it to him because he keeps getting free. And obviously, you know, you put your trust in their receivers if they're out there to do the job, but his hands have escaped him somewhat in this point. But as I say, he keeps getting free, so you're right to keep throwing it.
Yeah, you got it.
In a way, you know, it's tough to say, oh, drops are a good thing, because obviously they're not. But if you're but you're getting yourself in a position to keep dropping the disc, essentially, which means that you'll keep being in a position to be thrown to.
They've got another opportunity to drop one now, Bench.
To catch one?
Yes, or that.
Still skew positive. You see what
I see what you're saying.
Yes, but I appreciate that my phrasing could have been tighter.
No, your phrasing was clever as always, and that one bobbled and taken, and we are going to Galaxy points.
That has been a big weapon, hasn't it, for Uprising? It's how can we access that inside window? And it's that fall-over flick that they fired 2 or 3 times for scores. A couple of them have gone to Boguszewski as well, because he's ready for it, he's expecting it. He's making that cut towards the break side. Something that you're seeing actually with this is that they're picking up the disc quite close to this sideline, but the stack is set relatively far over towards the centre of the end zone. And what that means is that the defenders are unsure whether to properly poach off there or quite what they're doing, and he doesn't have his eyes on the disc necessarily, so when the cutter goes, it's a little bit of an adjustment to flip the hips round, but because the cut has started from all the way over there, yes, it's a break side cut, so the defender's a little bit on the wrong side, but actually the throw itself is relatively flat because you've created a big lane for that pass to go into.
Yeah, indeed. There was a little bit of confusion on the field there. I thought they maybe thought it was half-time.
No, it's Galaxy point.
It's
fellas.
Galaxy point. You'd say that a couple of them went to Boguszewski. I think at least 2, maybe 3 of those fall-away breaks have come from Maszewski. He has at least 2 were that connection, Maszewski to Boguszewski. So look out for those 2, particularly in that downwind situation. So, Galaxy point, Bench.
Yeah, looks like some young Ultimate players in training.
Oh yeah, there he goes. He's going to have his hand full thrown today, but keep going there, young fella.
Already better than I am.
Check. Goes to the highlight maker of the day, Gauga. Turns, leading throw, Sheck puts it, and that looks like it's gonna fall just beyond the hands of the intended receiver. There was some contact going towards it, and they're going to discuss that contact. I think the contact had some effect. For me, that felt like it was out of the hand, looking good. That's easy to say. You can't, early in the chase. But he definitely did make him adapt. We're going to have another look at this.
It's been quite a physical game, and I think part of that is because when it's so windy, there's so much air go. There's a lot of defensive pressure and coverage, and he does come down on the back of the ankles.
Yeah, he went up early.
I don't think it's massive, but would that slow you down and break your stride? I think there's a.
I don't know if it breaks your stride. It takes away the potential to bid. If he thought he was going to bid, then yes. If not, then no. It is accepted. It's an accepted foul. I mean, he landed on his heel.
Yeah.
That's going to have some effect.
The question is only, do you think you had a shot at bringing that in?
Galaxy point goes to Rinka, and he must have felt he had a shot at pulling it in. Now they do put it in. 8-7. Taken in a tight battle up to the halfway point here, Benji.
Yeah, this is half time, but I don't think we'll actually have like a longer extended half time necessarily. We might a minute or 2, but there's only 5 minutes left before the cap comes on. So maybe take a brief breather just to gather yourself, but especially if you're Uprising, you probably take the mental reset. What are we doing? Good. Get back out there, because you do not necessarily have time on your side in this scenario.
These are the score lines that you see, and you could assume sometimes, a defensive battle out there. But more generally speaking, you understand that it is a weather-affected battle, and that the scoring has been made by virtue of defense or by virtue of wind, rain, torrentials of all sorts. That offense is just playing against an 8th and sometimes 9th defender in the form of inclement weather. So this wind really taking the efficiency out of both of these offenses, Benji, with 8-7 ball game and 5 minutes remaining.
Franken being able to get that upwind break when they did before the heavy wind really set in was enormous. I should say, rather than being able to get that upwind break in, being able to get that upwind break back, because Uprising had managed to snag one early in the game.
Yeah, a good game of runs here. There have been a couple lead changes. There's never been more than a 2-point separation. They're really battling it out. And as we said, a lot to battle for. The whole season long in the back of your head, these rankings. And of course, this tournament, here and now, you're in a bracket, you're in the eliminations. Can you get to tomorrow's big dance? They put one up, and it was this time thrown to Kudlinski, but not on him. This time the defender, Brockmeyer, was the much bigger unit in the situation, and he smacks it away.
Again, I think that's playing the territorial struggle a little bit, saying we want to get this down the other end. You know, we think we can give Kudlinski a shot, but he wasn't, you know, a lot of this game he's been, you know, he's had some unfortunate errors, but he's been in really good positions.
Like there.
That one was, yeah, that one was always a tough catch for him to make. He was never in position for that. But as you mentioned, in a good position there to get the block.
Mashevsky. Will we see the fall-away forehand break? He'll get a new shot clock here.
Yeah, a little bump on the mark there from Jakob Schäfer.
And we have seen it, but it doesn't work this time. And he was looking for Boguszewski again.
Yeah, he was, and Rinke was looking for it as well.
And Rinke sends it back the other way, and the wind pushes it again to the near sideline. They get out of trouble, but give back.
Got a bold prediction for you, Steph.
Fall away forehand?
I know, I don't think we'll reach 15.
Yeah, thanks, Bench. Very bold. You're really putting your neck on the line for that one. Back, caught. Boguszewski leads one into the guts, and a
injury, I think. Also, that's not how Mackline works. You're supposed to catch it one-handed.
Yeah.
Although, this is not Mackline. This is an actual game of Frisbee.
Okay.
So, yeah, catch it two-handed. Correct play there. Significantly less swaggy, though.
This wind, she's a-blowing.
They're going to bring on Janus Gauger, who had that sensational layout snag earlier.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's good, wasn't it? There's been some really good moments in this game, despite the elements having a different idea. This is going to be a violation. Yeah. Because not only is the disc on the field, the disc landed literally right at their feet.
Yeah. Bison. Oh, and he puts it too far in front. And now Franken with a more manageable field to try and chip their way up. As you hear the horn there, this is game point. Finish this and +1 now, Benji.
This is why we've seen Uprising huck it so much, because they do not want to give Franken a short field opportunity. And they did get it back quickly, and that one always just motoring away from Boguszewski.
Yeah. They've put Franken back deep in their zone.
It's a bit windy, isn't it?
It is a bit windy. It is. Brockmeyer. Centers, now Gauga. Up line. Wallaber to Rinke. Goes into the deep space for Kerner. High for Gauga. Haben. Gauga. And they've done it. Upwind. They put it together at the right moment, take a lead 9-7 game to 10, and they will have the wind at their back to pull, Benji. They took a big advantage by being able to manage that one upwind.
Yeah, they really did. Because we've seen how hard they are to come by in this.
They've been hard to come by, and Uprising, I mean, situation could be described as bleak. They're going to need to break their way out of here to win, starting with an upwind break, downwind break, upwind break. That's the situation. 2 upwind breaks required at minimum.
That's tough.
But it ain't over till it's over. Next up, the women's quarterfinal, 3SB taking on Sharks. The return of the Tushnerovas.
I've heard of them.
And pull goes into the netting and will be bricked.
So Uprising, not only do you need to score upwind, but you then need to break downwind. And then break upwind to win on Universe.
Yeah, I think I said it break, break, break. Of course it is hold first. And that's made difficult to do, but still a chance for it. Big shot goes up and connects again now, 7 to 10 out, 10 meters out. Leading throw and hammered. No call on the play. I thought there was some contact there. Here's another look. Any which way, no call made.
Yep.
Going to go into the hands of Brockmeyer. And a chance to win the game for Franken and give themselves a seat in the semis. Rinke. Harmon. Volleyball to Harmon. Space as they try and switch defensively. Upline cut, nice shimmy by Kana, and now Rinke. Big arcing shot in the end zone, but broken up by the defense, and Uprising will get one more chance to extend the game.
Yeah, here was the turnover that gave it back to Franken. But yeah, the deep shot, it's all about positioning there from the deep defender. Got to read on it nice and early, so the defenders have to try and find a way to come over the top and do that without creating contact as well, and that's such a tough ask.
Yeah. Good job of it. Uprising will face this vicious wind once more along with the white-shirted defenders, but it's the wind that's been causing the bulk of the grief here. From their end zone, they do get a first completion. Wyszynski, and then the next throw goes to ground. And now a reasonably short field coming in from the sideline. We do have an injury away from the play. Seems to be, well, my initial assessment is that it would be a cramp. And Uprising take the moment to get some fresh legs out there too. Gauga checks in and Shimura checks in.
You can imagine that there is a lot of lactic acid building up at the moment because it's been a tough old slog out there.
Yeah, tough slog this game. Last game of the day, 4th game of the day. Rinke finds the corner, and Franken are going to the semifinals. A hard-fought win. They really turned the corner late in the game, Benji. And that is game over.
Yeah, tight one for most of it. Franken just getting that crucial upwind break at the end and then catching in the subsequent downwind, not giving Uprising any thought of a comeback late on. A good win for a Franken side against an Uprising side that at points really looked like they had the ability to pull away, but Franken just always kept them within touching distance, literally and metaphorically, and then just the composure at the end to see it out, finish a 4-0 day, 4 wins, 0 defeats, and they've got a semi-final waiting them tomorrow morning.
Big day for Franken. They'll sleep well tonight, I imagine, and hope for more of what they achieved today when these games get bigger and better for them and mean just a little bit more the further they go. Great performance by both, as said Benji. We got more action coming as we keep telling you. One more fixture on tap for the day. Women's quarter, 3SB taking on Sharks. That's next. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and consider being a patron. You can still do it now in these dying moments. For Benji Reese and Felix Shardlow behind the lens, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Milan. I mean, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.